Hey up. Carrying on with this stint of Millennial Trash, we're moving on to a film that I've seen a fair few times because I used to own it as a teenager. We're looking at Maniacal, also known as Maniacal by teenage me who clearly couldn't read too good. This is a 2003 direct-to-video American slasher film directed by Joe Castro, who looks like he's done a bunch of these sort of low-budget horror films. He did the Terror Toons series of films, and he also worked on a film called Butchered, which funnily enough we're covering next episode. Looks like he's an effects guy as well, having worked with Herschel Gordon-Lewis on Blood Feast 2, and also working on a film called Zombie Chronicles, which funnily enough we're going to be covering very shortly in this collection. Looks like we're having a bit of a stint of Joe Castro at this point. Now, the last time I watched this film was at a drunken movie night. It was one of the last films we watched, might have been the very last film we watched, and we were all pretty far gone by the time this came on. I can't really remember much of it, to be honest, and I'm hoping that's down to the alcohol as opposed to the film itself. Let's have a look, shall we?
What the hell's wrong with you? You're 19 years old, boy. Time to grow up!
Now, Gilbert, I want you to be a really good boy.
Get your engine off and step out of the car, please.
The plot follows Gilbert Gill, a teenager with an undiagnosed psychiatric condition. He has an alcoholic, abusive father, an inappropriate mother, and a sister who seems pretty normal. One night though, Gilbert decides to kill his mother and attempt to kill his father, which lands him in an asylum. 3 years later, he's set to be released for a day with his father picking him up, but he clearly can't wait half an hour, so decides to escape, killing patients and orderlies on his way. Now he's loose in his hometown on a killing spree. Can the police catch him in time before he kills the rest of his family? It's an overly done and simple plot. We've seen this a million times before, but it does manage to keep its pace. It's only 79 minutes long, and it only really dipped once, about an hour in for about 5-10 minutes. It's stupid, it's over the top, it's gory, and it kept me entertained.
Yeah, I just moved here from Springfield, actually.
Oh, that's cool. Are you related to the Simpsons?
Huh?
Never mind.
I guess you could say so.
So, you gonna slip the wet wiener to Janet anytime soon?
Josh, man, did you slip DJ the old wet wiener?
All the characters in this are terrible, one note and very, very stupid. Now, I'm not one to whinge about characters acting a little counterintuitively in a horror film. It has its purpose. If every character in a horror film acted rationally, then horrors would be 10 minutes long and very mundane. But when you've got examples of two characters trying to open a locked door for over a minute, and there's just a twisty lock above the door but they can't figure it out and give up, it's a little much. We do get some funny lines here and there as well, and some awkward exchanges, which is always fun, and the guy playing Gilbert looks made for the role, giving off a sort of a young Anton LaVey look. One thing though that did stand out is all these characters, or most of these characters, are meant to be teenagers, and most of them definitely look like they're in the mid-30s. They look older than I do. It's a little distracting. Another thing that's a bit distracting is the overacting issue we have here as well. Now, the main thing with this is the screaming. There's a lot of screaming in this, and every time they do it, they give it 100%. And as you can probably imagine, it comes across as a bit amateur dramatics. It clips the mic, we get distortion, it's clearly not been mixed in right, and it all just comes across as very annoying. One thing that is really good though is the gore in this. There's a lot of gore in this, and it's fun. It's heads exploding, guts and blood everywhere, and for the most part it's practical, which is always nice to see. It's visceral, crunchy and effective and very over the top, which is just what you want from gore in these sorts of films. And we get a little bit of nudity as well. It seems to really like to focus on these fake boobs for quite a while. Very of its time.
You know, it's just like in those slasher flicks when the deranged psycho comes back to murder innocent people and he doesn't die no matter how many times you kill him.
Just stop it! You're freaking me out!
This was definitely shot on digital. It's got that high contrast and pixelated look to it. Very fitting for Millennium Trash, as is the jarring editing and then the styles and costumes of the characters as well. It also does something that we've discussed a few times recently, where it sort of awkwardly angles the camera in tightly fitting rooms. I feel like with this film though, it was a stylistic choice that just didn't really pay off, trying to show like, oh, he's crazy so we're on a Dutch angle. It just sort of looks like badly framed and lazy shots though. The music in this, weirdly, is all like hip-hop themed, I'd say. And again, it's really badly mixed, so it just sort of farts out of the speakers. It does add to the entertainment factor though. It is quite funny to hear this music and see this guy acting all weird and angsty. Lastly, something that we've not had to mention in quite a while, to be honest. This film is cut by the BBFC. 10 seconds of this film are missing. According to the website, it is 10 seconds of a knife on a bare breast. You know, knowing that as well, when you see the scene, it's quite obvious that there is a cut there. Not had to mention it in quite a while though, this, so they've been doing alright for the uncut films, but 10 seconds, it's not massive, is it?
Stop by Eddie Brandt's Saturday Matinee Horror Shop this week, folks. Monster Mask Blowout, $1 a piece. Previously viewed horror movies only $4 each.
Right, time for the print, and it's fine for the most part. As I said, it's clearly shot on digital, so it's got that high contrasty sort of look to it, and it is in 4:3. But you know what, it's way better than most of the stuff that we've covered recently. Outside of the odd mic clip and dodgy angled shot, it's relatively glitch free, although there is a flicker running along the bottom of the screen for the whole film, which is a little distracting. And then on the disc we get chapter select, trailer for this film, and of course Hard Gore trailers. Again, standard, and again, lazy. Case time. And it seems alright. The cover is charmingly trashy. Love the doll knife front and centre. The blurb reads alright, no major errors that I can see. The runtime, however, is very badly out. As we said, this film is 79 minutes and the back claims that it's over 100, which would have made it one of, if not the longest film in the collection. Thankfully for us though, it's not that long. But this might be one of the worst runtimes we've ever seen. It's definitely the worst runtime of the Hard Gore collection so far though. Did they just include the length of all the trailers as well? I don't really understand what went wrong here, to be honest. Outside of that though, everything else is fine. We also get a Poundland leaflet with this one, which we've not had for a little while. Nothing we haven't seen before though, but here it is for you to have a look at. Overall then, Maniacal is a piece of Millennium Trash that luckily didn't get too boring. It's awful, sure, it's got a generic plot and it's just not very well made, but the gore and the bad acting really carried it. I'd give this a light recommendation, you know, drinks and friends sort of film. It might just be because I'm a bit nostalgic for it though, I'm not sure, but it's got violence, it's short, and it's lacking a lot of the angst that a lot of these films really cling to. If you're in the market, this is pretty much your only version, and it's fine really. There is a Shriek Collection version, but we know about those by this point. And as I usually say, don't spend too much on this if you are going to pick it up. Get it cheap, and you probably have a good time with it. So, decent, I mean, crap, but entertaining, this episode. more fun than some of the other ones that we've watched recently have been. And next episode, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be double billing Joe Castro's stuff because we have another one of his films. Weirdly, some sort of double bill. I don't know if it was intentional in the collection or what. They haven't put it on the spines though, so who knows. Anyway, next episode, a Joe Castro I haven't seen before. We're going to be checking out Butchered.